Walking through this beautiful area today, it is hard to imagine that it was once extensively cleared and logged. Like most of the slopes below the Illawarra escarpment, Minnamurra has its fair share of red cedar, and many fine trees can still be seen there today. Cedar was carried from the inner shores of Lake Illawarra in small craft in 1810. Bullock teams were used to haul cedar logs and planks to the edges of the lake at suitable centres, 15 years before any real settlement took place. No grants of land, however, were issued in the area until 1817, and in 1802 the Governor of New South Wales had issued an order that no cedar could be cut down without his permission. By 1821 there were many cedar getters obtaining cedar with government permission from the Illawarra. The principal cedar grounds in 1826 were about 3 miles distant from the boat harbour at Kiama. From here, about 90% of the cedar brought to Sydney was shipped. By about 1850, cedar, as an article of commerce, ceased to be of importance in the Illawarra. The Minnamurra Falls has been a popular picnic spot since the 1870s and was known about since the earliest settlers and the cedar getters. In 1909, the falls were renamed Hampton Falls after the visit of a governor, but this renaming was very unpopular and the current name remained in use. The falls area was set aside for public recreation since 1898. Most of the land in the Minnamurra Rainforest Reserve was originally owned by Alexander and Edward Baderham and Thomas Ward. Toilets and shelter sheds were built by the Jamberoo Council in 1936, and further work was done in 1938, when the Minister for Lands provided relief work payments to men during the Depression. The workmen camped on Coles Flat and created a path to the falls with permanent crossings over the streams. Howard Judd, appointed in 1936 as a Kiama Council Ranger, did much to promote the beauty and also the conservation of the area by limiting the number of cars to the site and conducting education programs. Judd was a ranger for over 30 years, and in that time saw the number of visitors to the falls increase to about 100,000 per year. He also oversaw the development of facilities and decking to protect the most seriously damaged areas. The Minnamurra rainforest is an important ecological site due to several factors. Because it has been a relatively protected site since the 1900s, there are many trees, ferns and rainforest animals that may not be found elsewhere. The National Parks and Wildlife Service took over the management of the reserve in 1986 and have since created the boardwalks and suspension bridges. Though winter is the breeding time for lyrebirds, any time is a good time to visit the area. Summer is the only time you can expect to see water dragons, which are plentiful along the creek lines. During spring and summer, many of the trees and vines develop berries and fruit, which attracts pigeons and bowerbirds. 5 pigeons and doves are listed for this area, including this topknot. The emerald dove is also listed, but it is probably rare, being associated more with the far north. Minnamurra, though, is more famous for the iconic lyrebird, which can be seen at close quarters almost anywhere along the developed areas. This yellow-throated scrub wren is listed as a resident, but you are much more likely to see it along the fringes of the ranges north of the Hunter River. What you should almost certainly see is its close relative, the white-browed scrub wren, which often associates with lyrebirds. There are over 70 bird species listed for Minnamurra, including the golden whistler, fantails, shrike thrush, tree creepers and cuckoos. But many birds forage high up in the tree canopy and can be difficult to observe. Fairly strong binoculars are an asset here. Of course, the usual issue of migrants and nomads just travelling through applies, so inclusion of a species on the list doesn't imply a reliable presence. A daily park use fee for cars applies at Minnamurra. Holders of pension concession cards may apply in advance to the Parks and Wildlife Service in Sydney for an annual pass.